Say what you will. You can even call me old school or misogynistic if you like. But as a male and a father, I consider myself to be a protector and a provider. Not only to my family, but to the general public. It's an unwritten man law that you hold a responsibility when you're out in this world. If you're on a sinking ship, you are well aware of the fact that you will be one of the last people to get off the boat, if at all. We know that our birthdays and Father's Days will be casual events on the calendar, with gift bags consisting of socks and coffee mugs, funny ties, or the occasional tool that we can use to do house projects in our free time. Yay! Now this may seem like a complaint, but I know myself and all other real men wouldn't change it for the world. 'Cause let me tell you something. Every man you know has fantasized on their way to work on what they would do in a hero situation. It's in our fucking DNA. He's a bold-faced liar if he's told you he hasn't thought up an outsider scenario in his mind about running into a burning church to save kids. Even the gentlest of men have that hero in them. Trust me, some have just never been tested. Now, if you know someone with a penis who wouldn't run into a burning church to save kids, well, that's not a man. That's what we call a boy. Because whether you know it or not, out in a public situation, men will create safety zones in their head, and all the women and children around them are in it, even strangers, because it's a fear, a realistic one that can make the toughest man vulnerable. Do what you want to me, but if you start hurting mamas and babies, we're gonna have problems. So of course, Stephen King, of all people, manages to find a way to prey on both situation and add man's best friend on top of it. Okay, Stephen. I have no idea how we've made it this long without covering Cujo, but it's finally time to put this dog to rest. Boys and girls, this is the season finale for the second Rehab season. So if you're joining us, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Without any further introduction, here is our take on Cujo. Welcome back to the Sloppy Horror Podcast. I am your host and your scary movie companion, Christian Ramey, and back again for another week, clapping them ass cheeks. It's the best producer in the whole wide world. You guys know him as Mr. Ozark Mark. Mark, I see you down there. I got one question. Who let the dogs out?
Oh,
my
goodness gracious. Do you know what episode this? Stop talking.
Can you hear okay?
Yes, I can hear okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Stop. I can hear okay. Can you hear okay?
Yeah, turn up my snare.
Can everybody?
Yeah.
Listen. Do you know what episode this is? Do you know? Have you been following along, boys and girls, ladies and gents?
Long time coming.
I know, it's the season finale.
We teased it.
The season finale of the Rehab season. It's been a fantastic season. I love it. What season is next? I don't know, because I don't do that part. That's not my job. That's the job of the man over there, sitting across from me. But he picked a fantastic movie, a classic. It's a fucking classic, okay? Everybody knows the name. It's Cujo. We're talking about Cujo.
It changed a dog name forever.
Although, it really did, man.
Although, I'm not saying I would be terrified. Mark, there's so much fun shit to talk about with this movie. So much fun stuff. There's laughter, there's tears, and there's some serious contemplation. I mean, I really have to say this. But I am going to say first, if you guys are watching on YouTube, make sure that you're subscribed to the show. It's completely free to do, and it really helps us out. Not to mention, if you're an audio listener on Spotify or Apple Podcast, or really wherever you're listening, if you could take 2 seconds while you're listening, give us a 5-star rating, that would mean the world to us. It really does help us out. Make sure you tell your friends if they like spooky stuff, because as you guys know, this is a show with 0 advertisements, and the way we keep the lights on is by running a Patreon. Patreon.com/sloppyhorror. You can find all kind of bonus episodes pretty cheap, and this just helps out the show. This really helps us out. We also have merchandise if that's your thing. But thank you guys for all the love and support. But you're going to make it through this whole show with no advertisements, okay? because we love you. All right. So let's move forward a little bit. Now, I do want to put them in them shoes first. Okay, can we just start with that? Let's stay on path here. Can we put them in the shoes, or is it too early?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
We about to fill them shoes. We about to fill them shoes. Yeah, I'm about to fill them shoes. We about to fill them shoes. Okay, there it was. A little bit of shenanigans happened during that song, but that's for us to know and you to never fucking know. Anyways, fill my shoes. This is going to be interesting because this movie came out in 1983, correct?
You are right, sir.
That's awesome. Good.
And to be more specific, it came out on August 12th, 1983. And Ronald Reagan was the president during that time frame. The Cold War was still going on. We were in the thick of the Cold War with the Soviet Union. People were scared. But it was the 80s, all right? People was having fun, all right? They were having fun. But, I mean, it's not 41 yet. This movie's 40 years old. That's pretty crazy to think about.
That's a milestone.
It is. It is. So, I'm going to give you a hint at what the number one song was, all right? So, the lead singer of this band shares a name with the wrestler. It's a one name. The guy had a bat, and he also painted his face white and black. He came flying down in, okay?
Sting.
Okay, correct. Now, he was a lead singer of a band, and they sang a very popular song
Of a band.
about stalking a woman, and then P. Diddy later did the song for for Biggie.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
No, that's a good song.
That's not it?
No.
No, that's definitely not it.
The song,
It's in your head now. I guarantee you, it's in your fucking head now. But anyways, I'm sorry. Continue.
No, you remember when Biggie died? And Puffy made a song for him?
Yeah.
With Faith Evans?
Yeah.
Every Breath You Take, right? He redid the Police song. Yeah, I'll Be Watching You.
Yeah, we got that. All right, that's a solid song. That's a great song.
Yeah, and it's a stalker song. You know,
Absolutely.
The P. Diddy one obviously didn't come out then, but the Police version
Was he
did.
P. Diddy at that point?
No, he was a baby at that
Was
point.
he Diddy?
He was just Sean.
He was lowercase p.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. He wasn't Puffs. He was Puffs.
No, he was deflated.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, okay. All right, we got the toes in there. What else we got?
You want to take a guess on what the number one movie was? Now, this was a comedy, all right? It's a franchise of comedies, and the later one was a Christmas movie, but this one was not a Christmas movie.
National Lampoons.
You have The Vacation, baby.
That's a great one.
Oh, it's so funny.
Super classic.
Wally World. Mm-hmm. That movie's funny as shit.
I just saw a clip of that today on the internet.
It's a very funny movie. Mm-hmm. When he drives underneath the semi. Clark!
Stop. That whole movie is clips worthy.
Oh, dude, it is. It's so funny. But also in theaters at the time, we had Risky Business, and then that was the year of Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. That stayed there all year.
Obviously, yeah.
Which, man, I mean, I was born when the first three came out. Like, I had to, like, kind of live through the prequels and then the other ones. But the first three, or, 4, 5, 6, however you want to look at it, we had those. I know you didn't watch them as much, but when we were young, at least if you were to watch Star Wars, you could say that you were old enough where you only had the first ones that came out, right? I couldn't imagine being alive and having to wait for that storyline. So, like, you get, like, just, Luke leaves, and then motherfucker, he finds out in Empire Strikes Back that Darth Vader is his dad, and then you have to, like, wait for Return of the Jedi. You don't know if Han Solo is gonna live. He's frozen. Like, it's one of the biggest cliffhangers of a movie. And, like, I couldn't imagine just like, yep, y'all gotta wait a couple years. Like, what the fuck? No! We will not! You give us this movie. So, like, when this comes out, like, I couldn't imagine having to wait. Be too much. But that was the year of that. That's what was going on. So we got Ronald Reagan, we got the Cold War, we've got the Police with Every Breath You Take, and a little National Lampoon's Vacation. That's what we got.
I'm laced up, ready to go.
You're all filled in there,
Yes,
bro.
I am.
So,
No leaks.
I guess it's time to give a little synopsis of Cujo. And this is a pretty brief one. Like, the first part of this movie is really like a marriage problems, which it's a slow start. It really is a slow start. I mean, it's rich with story. If you like, I like old movies, so like if you like just watching an old movie and people acting, we are dealing with Dee Wallace, and she plays Donna.
Whore.
Right. And Donna is married to Vic, and she's having an affair with this dude named Steve, right? And she's fucking Steve. And what's crazy about this movie is in real life, she was married to Christopher Stone, who was Steve. So Steve, that was her real husband at the time.
Oh. That's a cool little fact there. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and he passed away in 95. But if you remember The Howling, they were both in The Howling, too.
Right.
Like, they went out. So anything with Dee Wallace, I'm a fuck with, bro. E.T., like, she's like everybody's mom from the 80s. Yeah. She's awesome. Even like all the way up to like Lords of Salem. Like she loves horror, and we got to take care of those people. That being said, once the movie really starts cooking, the second half of the movie, we have Dee Wallace, Donna, and her son Tad, who's a young boy. He's like 5, and they're trapped in a car while a rabid dog, Cujo, attacks the car. And eventually gets in, bites mom, and they have to fight off Cujo to live. And this is an exchange over a day and a half? How long was that?
I don't know. It was like 2 days or
something.
something.
It was 2 days of hell. And it does invoke a lot of emotions. Like, I'm going to start off by saying there are parts where, it's the actor who played Tad. And this fucks me up every time, because I don't rewatch this movie often, and I realize why. But the actor who played Tad, I forget his name, but the point is, there are parts where they actually scared him with the dog. And there are parts in this movie where it's funny. Like, and you don't mean to laugh, but the kid, like, his, like, that face of just like, oh! And when it's, like, more of just, like, kind of a freaked out, like, that's a funny. Like, you scare brothers and sisters, you scare, that's funny. But there are moments where it really turns for me, and I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this in a way like, oh, as a parent, like I'm not saying it like on a high horse. I'm saying this, but like I do think you develop something after becoming a parent, like where you hear things different, and like a baby crying is one of them. Especially like a mom, like something happens to her fucking nipples and vagina. If she hears like, especially a young baby, like they're like, "Where's that baby?" I swear, bro. Watch what happens, especially when they're real little, like a real like kind of baby that really needs that something happens to him, bro. Like, right. But even as a dad, there's like a certain crying, and they like traumatize this young boy. And there are moments when he's really freaking out, and like the part where he's like, "I want my daddy," I'm like, that shit's hard for me to listen to, bro. Like it for real triggers my fight or flight, where I'm like, I gotta turn like the noise off on this because I don't like to hear that. Like,
no, it's definitely cringeworthy for those people, I'm sure. The kid does a really good job of trained to be scared, and apparently he was scared, so that's why it was so believable.
Yeah, and it preys on a couple different things here, but that, for me, that really fucks me up. I don't enjoy, I didn't enjoy hearing that or really hearing them all fucking traumatized or freaking out, but I'm going to get, like, the fact that this is, like, a mother, right? So, I'm not going to sound any kind of way here, but every kid deserves a mother and a father, right? Like, we don't all get one, right? If you didn't get that, sorry. But every kid deserves a mother and a father. Like, that's a baseline right. Because there's differences. There's different kinds of love that you get from mom and that you get from dad. And when, I'm going to tell you, the toughest man listening to this podcast right now, the toughest guys out there, or the wimpiest dudes, I'm going to tell you something. As tough as you are, from 0 to 5, you acted just like this little boy did with your mama. You were a little bitch. Little boys are little bitches, dude. And that's why your dad looks at you like that your whole life, because he had to spend the first 5 years of your life like, you little fucking bitch. Like, because you would run to your mom like, and she would nurture it. So like, I think it's a dad's job. Like at some point, like around 5, you start to pull him off the titty. You're always gonna have your mama, like for love, but you gotta have dad there to say rub some dirt on it, right? Mm-hmm. And that's generally how it's done correctly. But this little boy was still in the little bitch stage, so there's moments where you're like, man, the fuck up, little boy, like as a dad. But at the same time, it's so vulnerable because it's with mom. Like, it's with mom. Like, mom's the person that you can be vulnerable with. And I'm not saying women are weaker or whatever. I'm just saying in this situation, that's really fucked, dude. Like, a mom and her young kid getting attacked by a big-ass rabid dog. Like, you're like, could you imagine, Ozark Mark, like, you're on lunch at work. You're just like, I'm going to go to McDonald's, right? And you're eating in the parking lot. And, like, you look down the hill and see another parking lot where this is happening. Bro, you would somersault down that hill. If like there was no man there helping, you drive your fucking car down the hill, dude. Mm-hmm. There's just something that triggers that you're like, that's some like Titanic shit, like women and children first. Like I don't know what that is. You're not married with kids, but if you were on a boat and there was a woman and a baby in front of you, you're giving your spot, like without even thinking about it. Like, what is that? Like, what is that? That's just how it works. Yeah, dude.
That's how the human race works.
Yeah, dude. Women and children first, because that's just the way that it works. Now, if it's a bunch of dudes, it might get a little hectic, towards the boat. Everybody, hey, sit on my lap.
No, it's every man for himself at that point. It's going to be a Royal Rumble in that bitch.
We're sitting on laps.
I ain't sitting on nobody's lap.
But there's just this thing that this movie really triggers for me, and there's like a part of it, because they're so fucking vulnerable. Just as mom, you're like, picture your mom, like, and you're like, damn, bro, no. Now your dad, you'd be like, come on, dad. What's also funny, too, is I think a lot of people have grown up with big dogs. And, like, dogs aren't a fear for a lot of people. Even, like, there's small women out there that fucking beat up a pit bull. Because at the crux of it, now I know this dog is rabid, okay? But at the bottom of it, a dog, bro, you don't even have to hit a dog. It's like, you're a bad dog. You're a bad dog. Like that dog just like, it freaks out. Like getting loud and like, there's just a way you can command your body where you just dominate the situation. Now, you've had dogs like German Shepherds, things of that nature. Rabid dog's one thing, but in general, like if I had like a big, what do they call them, like cane corsos or whatever, one just walked in here, would you be pissing down your leg? No. You'd be like, no, I'll fuck that dog up if he tries to get me. It could be a fight, but like a dog can only bite you. It doesn't have hands. As a matter of fact, his arms are weak and frail. Like their legs, you can fucking kick one out with a good UFC kick. Mm-hmm. Like if he's trying to kill you, I would never do that to a dog normally, but like, it's a dog. It can only bite you. That's its only, like, I'm not saying it's not powerful and it can't, but, like, if you look at it like that, it's not an alligator, dude. Like, even an alligator's bite is crazy. It's a dog. You know what they say to do in that situation? Not rabid. Not a rabid dog.
Stick your finger in its eye? I don't know.
If a dog comes at you and it's about to latch on you and you don't have a choice, let it get your forearm and then push your forearm down on its mouth, because if you like crack back open their jaw, they can't do anything and they can't really bite down on it. You can control the situation that way, which is kind of wild. But I'm going to say something else, though. What makes it scary is rabies. Do not, the morbid people will, but do not look up rabies in humans, because it is the worst YouTube, like it'll change your whole month. It's not good.
I don't feel like doing that.
Don't do it. Please take my word for it, because it
What's worse, rabies or blue waffle disease?
Now that's gross.
Which one's worse?
Honestly, bro, it's the rabies.
Oh God, man, I'm definitely not looking at that.
Because it sets in pretty quick, and by the time it sets in, you're already fucked. There's no reversing it. After you get it, like if you get bit by a raccoon or something that you think is rabbit, and you went in right now and they gave you all the shots, like you'd be good. But if you don't know, and you just get rabies, by the time the symptoms come in, there's nothing you can do. it's already too far gone. Like your body will start refusing water and food, and you'll get all foamy, and it's the scariest shit ever. So that would add. I would add a fear to it because it's like, all right, I want to. It's like zombies. Like I don't want to get their shit in me. Like you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So we would have to look at it from that perspective. But Mark, if this was me and you in a car, we would Benny the Jet Rodriguez that motherfucker, dude. We'd be over the fence. That dog ain't never getting us. We would make it out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What do you mean?
I'm waiting until his head gets in the window and I'm rolling it the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, do you think you could escape the situation?
Yes.
And then, like, why not put the car in fucking neutral and just, like, try to roll your...
There's lots of things. Now, keep in mind, okay, this is a D. Wallace, 90-pound female and a 5-year-old kid. They're not going to be able to do shit. Not going to be able to do shit.
Nope.
Not really. I mean, even her swings with the bat, because at one point, you know... Throughout the story, she sees a bat on the ground. She breaks free, gets the bat, and starts fucking the dog up a little bit. Not with them swings, dude. It's like getting hit with a wiffle ball bat. Like, come on.
Yeah, dude, that's not. It's not gonna do shit to you.
If I get a one solid swing on a dog, it's going down.
Yeah.
Permanently.
And so. I just think it's funny too because I mean I know the rabies is gonna add an effect to make the dog not what it is, but it's just funny in general because like. Right now, a German Shepherd could come in, and you would have no bad dog, like, and you could make that dog like talk to you because they're so fucking sad. Dogs are funny like that. You don't have to hit them. You don't have to. All you got to do is just look real disappointed and get big. The biggest of dogs will cower. The ones you got to worry about are Chihuahuas and shit, and fucking Yorkies. Those are the ones that are like till death. You know, like. I will bite you. The big ones,
dog syndrome.
The big ones are hilarious, dude. Like especially because the big ones are usually more talkative. I'm sure German Shepherds, fucking Saint Bernards. Even I mean, my dog's not that big, but when you walk into my house and my dog goes to jump on you, what do you say? Like, get out. You know, no jumping. Not because you're not. Oh, your dog. No, bro. You're immediately hands out, stiff arm, fucking. I don't know. Marshall Falk, stiff arm.
Just get the leg up because your dog has the perfect projectile to hit me in the nuts every time. So, you know, you get the leg up, cross it a little bit, block the nuts.
It's just funny, too. Like, I mean, obviously, if somebody's dogs are all over the place, you're like, get your fucking dogs. But it's funny when you go over to somebody's house and they're, like, super apologetic, and you're like, oh, it's no problem. This dog's not going to fuck with me at all. I promise you.
No, it's a dog. They get excited. Stop.
Yeah. Oh, if this guy jumps at me, I have no problem putting him right back on the ground. Like, that's what you have to do, though. It's, like, just the energy of, like, I'm not being mean to you. Like, I'm just not afraid of you. Like, fuck you, dog.
It's just a dominance thing.
I think it's so funny though that there's like a 12-year-old girl that would like come out to Saint Bernard like sit down and the dog like go inside. Dogs are funny creatures, man. They really are, and I'm glad that they chose for Beethoven like a decade later to make him a Saint Bernard because it showed some good love and light on Saint Bernards because they are beautiful dogs, man. Mm-hmm. They're slobbery, but they're funny, man. Who wouldn't like that? If you got a Saint Bernard out there, send in some pictures, dog. All right, dress them up for Halloween. And how cool would that be if that was your day at work? Like, look, dude, we got this really sweet dog, okay? His name is Peaches, and all day you got to, like, play fight with him and make it look like he's attacking you. Bet. Come here, boy.
How
what
much
you doing? Oh, you go, boy.
How much you paying? We'll buy you lunch. I'm in.
Yeah. Like, it would be so easy, like, especially if you got comfortable with the dog. Like, you know how, like, when you can play fight with the dog, just that would be so easy. Like, get your
you can play fight with a dog, and then you can calm him down real quick.
It would look so funny.
Yeah.
But you could make it look so realistic. That would be such a fun job.
Yeah, that would be.
Now, the rabies amps it up. The rabies adds a little fear, but dog fear is one of the funniest fears to me. That's just one of the funniest fears to me. Like, you're like, why?
Like, for real. Why?
Put your eyebrows down and fucking give a lunge at your dog. You know, like sit down, like that. That's it. They don't like confrontation generally. You know, they don't like to be yelled at or scolded.
No.
And that's the funniest part for me. Now, cat don't give a shit.
Most dogs are all bark and no bite anyway.
Yeah. Now you could scold a cat till you're blue in the face. You could turn a cold shoulder. There's no strategy for them.
No.
They don't care. That's why they were like the antidote in Sleepwalkers. Like, you know, there's movies where cats are like.
That's why the Egyptians worshipped them.
Yeah, dude.
Couldn't figure it out.
That's why people love cats, because you got to work for them. Church. My wife tries to, like, church just, like, barely loves on her, comes up on her, and, like, you know, you see how she is with us. And it's, like, my wife's mission to get, like, more than, like, a minute pet session in with her. And it's, like, that's how cats are, though. Like, all cats. You get lucky and some just fuck with you like that, but those ones that don't, you're like, why? You're like, come here, kitty. You're like, you in treats? I
haven't really met a cat that hasn't liked me yet. Of course, like stray cats, you know, I mean, they'll run away from me, but I know that's a stray cat. You know, there's no point to it. But like any domestic cat, give me 5 minutes.
Yeah, and some just got to work their way up to you.
Yeah.
But animals, there's such a stark difference in both of them. But I just really have no fear of dogs. But it did amplify the fear watching from afar, watching a woman and a child go through this. And once again, I'm not saying women can't kick ass and do whatever, but in this particular situation, this was a very vulnerable spot. And you're like, damn, dude, like, especially because people rolled into the situation and got messed up. But it's like, if you just had a heads up, if you just knew what was going on, if you just saw, like, oh, shit, all you need is like 15 seconds of prep. You just find what you find. Either you have a gun on you, probably, or most time.
Or just grab the tire iron in there. You don't got a jack in there. There's something solid in that vehicle.
Yeah.
And that you could even do like a walk. You could do the Walking Dead fence things, like let the dog come up to the window and just start fucking it up through the window with something. Yep. It's in the 80s. Everything back then was heavy.
Can I tell you something, Sam?
What?
So they pulled a whole switcheroo with the book and the movie.
Okay.
So in the book, and Ken got a lot of shit for this. So at the part where she brings him inside, he dies. He dies.
Oh.
Little boy dies in the book, right? Mm-hmm. So they keep him alive in the movie, which I think is a lighter note. Like, that would be, I mean, kids dying in movies isn't a big plus. Like, that doesn't happen often. Like, and it's not good. Like, it's not good. Even in John Q, the little boy fucking made it. Like, kids dying in movies usually hits hard. It's not like a good one. So, that being said, they kept him alive, which I thought was good. And then the dog pops through back in like a classic horror movie. And I appreciated that little tidbit. Because what do we say? When you make a movie out of a book, what is it called?
An homage.
An adaptation.
Right, that.
So, you're making an adaptation. Now, sometimes you can go really off the rails where it's offensive, but a small cinematic change that's going to help the movie, I appreciate that. And appreciate not killing the fucking kid, because he's a cute kid. Now, if the kid was 13, if this is like a Lost Boys situation, you remember where the mom was running from Thorn, and he's like, Mom! Like, and he gets out the car. He's ready to help her. I mean, he's not very strong. He's only 13, but he helped his mom over the fence. Like, he helped, keeps shit at bay. Once they're like 13, you're like, boy, help your mom.
Fuck that kid.
Yeah, go out there and help your mama. Get that
like
dog.
13, fuck you.
Yeah.
All right.
But at 13, you're not going to let a dog fuck up your mama right in front of you. So you're like, but at 5, you're just, you're just in pure terror.
He's dead weight in there, dude.
Yeah, he's not helping.
No. You're making it worse by being here.
Yeah, and poor mom, in a few years. Fuck, if it would have been 10 years later, the kid would have messed that dog up. A 16-year-old boy, he would, oh, my mom! He'd have beaten that dog up. He wasn't a big helper. And not to mention, he was having little panic attacks, couldn't breathe. She had to, signs, not sixth sense. I remember signs where he had to pull him outside because he couldn't breathe.
Right.
Did we do Signs?
No.
Oh, man, what a movie we should cover. That's a good one.
We'll put it on the list.
Yeah. Oh, Signs is a lot of fun.
Signs.
Signs.
Everybody signs.
Fuck. That's.
Yep. We're gonna forget that, but I guarantee you, when we come back to it, that's gonna pop out again.
Yep, it will. It rings off the brain. Think about this, dude. Another Stephen King story, though. I mean, I know we gloat, but this is I have a horror podcast, and that's what I like to do. But B, this is gonna be. He's more popular than Shakespeare. I'm not saying he's more prolific writer or more beautiful. I'm saying his reach. I'm not insulting you, but I know you're not like a big reader, right? Like, I mean, I don't fucking read Shakespeare, but could you name me 3 Shakespeare plays? Maybe you could.
Romeo and Juliet.
Okay, we got one. Like the one where he's holding the skull.
Yeah, what is that? Hamlet.
Yep.
Hamlet and yeah, that's it.
King Lear, but
I don't fucking know.
right, exactly. But it's Shakespeare. Like, you know, Shakespeare's being like a lyrical assassin, like one of the most
No, he's not. He just made up a bunch of fucking words, and everybody thought he was a genius.
Right.
That's what happened.
But
you read Shakespeare before? Now, parts. I don't even know what he says. He just made up some shit, and everybody thought he was a genius because it sounded cool. He's like rappers today. Like if Young Dolph or somebody went back in that time,
yes,
and ready to play, it's the same shit.
Yeah.
You know.
I agree. I agree with you.
So,
but the point is he's one of the most celebrated writers. Like, if I said, like, you'd say, like, Ernest Hemingway, okay? If I went out on the street and asked people to name 3 Ernest Hemingway books, I don't know if they could. Maybe a writing study guy or, like, a big fan. If I walked down the street and asked people, name 5 Stephen King titles, I feel like we would have a lot more luck. I feel like big time.
oh yeah.
Big time. And even if, like, they couldn't name them, if you listed, have you seen Shawshank Redemption? Oh, I love that movie. Have you seen The Green Mile? Oh, I love that movie. And you start naming off all these works that these people have seen, and it's like, he's really hard to describe. He's like the biggest rock stars of writers of all time. Like, when he dies, it's going to be one of those moments that's like, people just can't really, you can't even imagine what's going to happen, but it's going to be a big one.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of thoughts and prayers and shit like that.
But I'm saying, like,
but there's going to be marathons of his movies. His book sales are going to go up. They're going to make movies, more and more movies out of his books that haven't been made yet. If they haven't, it's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be ridiculous.
It's going to be wild.
It is going to be wild. But now what's wild now is we have to go through the portal to another realm, to another world, and figure out more things about this movie. Welcome to the What Do You Know Here. This is the segment here where we're here to tell you something that you may or may not know about this movie here. So this is how it's going to go down. We're going to tell you things we know about this movie. Now you may know what we know, you may not know what we know. What if you know what we know, you're going to have a we know-gasm. If you don't know what we know, you better find out what we know, and you're going to have a we know-gasm too. Everybody's going to feel good. Exactly. So I'm gonna start it off here. I got a fact for you about this movie, Cujo. Cujo. Okay. So you know the dog, the type of dog that they made in this movie they used for it was a Saint Bernard, right? Mm-hmm. Now, guess what? Naturally, they didn't just use one Saint Bernard. They used 5 different Saint Bernards for this film. Can't overwork a dog, you know. 5 Saint Bernards in this film.
That's a lot.
They also used a man in a Saint Bernard suit.
You know, I think I've seen pictures of that. That's funny.
I mean, it was pretty close, you know. I mean, you can't make a dog do everything. I mean, you know, they're simple creatures, so sometimes you need a human to do a dog thing. And they also used a mechanical head. That made it scary, too. So there's a lot of different versions of this dog, Cujo, but they all came around first circle for the movie. Now, if you look closely, you can tell the differences between some of the dogs. I've noticed that.
That makes it so much more fun of a job. There's 5 dogs.
I know. That would be awesome. That would be hella
so much
awesome.
fun.
That would be alla awesome. I just made that word up. It's alla awesome, okay?
I would put so many treats in my pocket when I came to work every day.
Oh my
I'd be
goodness.
like, who's your friend?
We would go through so many Frisbees.
Oh, yeah.
I got another fact, a little bonus fact, because it
Okay.
has to do with a dog. So, this is movie magic. Dog, what happens when a dog wags its tail? What does that mean?
He's happy.
He means it's happy. He means he's interested. It means he's excited.
He's a happy little guy.
Dogs don't wag their tail when they're angry, do they? No, they don't.
No,
So,
they get that little razorback thing and
exactly.
they put it down.
So to make that movie magic, to not make because the dog is just happy to be there. There's people everywhere around. It's the dog's fucking, heaven basically. So they had to tie the tail of the dog to one of its legs so it would stop wagging.
I'm sure they did it where it didn't. It's not harmful to the dog too, but that's hilarious.
Nah, they just, it's like a little zip tie, not a zip tie, a little piece of, leash. I don't know what they use, but whatever.
Stop being happy.
I know. What do you know here?
Well, first off, we're gonna start with a dog fact. All right.
I just did 2 dog facts.
Well, we're gonna give you another dog fact. All right. So these dogs, I should say, but the Cujo. The whole premise, I mean, there's lots of times he's jumping up on a car, he's trying to freak out. You know what they would do in those scenes? They would take their favorite toy and they would shake it and then they would throw it in the car. And then they would roll the windows up and the dog wouldn't know what to do. So he'd be like jumping on the car and trying to fucking get his toy, So he went at the car with some intent. I mean, you know how the dog is. You get the ball or someone relentless. You're like, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, they'll go through fences and shit.
Oh, yeah. So,
Doors, screen. I had one time, my buddy, over at all the Scarios, they were playing fetch with their dog, but they closed the screen door. And then, Laura picked up the toy and was just picking it up, and the dog thought she was going to throw it out the window, so the dog went straight through the screen fence.
Oh, God. Yeah, when they make them dummy choices, but
She just blasted it.
But that kind of makes the movie funnier if you're going to watch it the next time. Look at that dog hitting the window like, give me my dog. But here's a little horror movie director fact. If you like scary movies, which you may heard of a man named John the Carpenters. And John the Carpenters is a director of said movies like Halloween.
Yeah, we know.
The Fall.
We know who he is. Keep going.
Well, this movie was slid to him, the script was, and they said, look here, John the Carpenters, we want you to make this movie. And he says, no, I'm okay. He didn't see the appeal in it. But later that year, he did pick up a Stephen King movie, a script, if you will, and he made it into a movie. And it was about a car, and that was called Christine. So I guess it works out for everybody. Everybody remembers that one. Ask your parents. Everybody knows Christine.
Yeah. Pick a dog or a car. That's a hard choice.
But that is one of those movies. You could literally say Christine or Cujo. Once again, that goes to the sentiment of King. It's like, that's crazy. Like, that's in the vernacular. Like, people know what that means.
It's bananas.
Shit is bananas.
It absolutely is. Wow, those are good facts.
Facted me up.
You got any more facts?
I feel like we're all factual now.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You positive?
I got no more facts to give.
Okay, neither do I. So we're gonna go now.
Fact you.
What the fuck did you just say to me?
Fact you.
Huh. So speaking of which, I got a ball trimmer on the way, so I'm happy about that. I never had a trimmer specifically for your nuts, so
It helps.
yeah, it's gonna be a lot because going with the razor, doing the brain, there's a lot of it's bad.
Oh, that's not good
It's
at all.
bad. Sometimes it's a jungle down
Listen
there.
to me with advice, because I've had all sets of clippers, right? And I've had to use the same clippers for my face and balls at the same time. Now, granted, I always keep alcohol inside my bathroom and I wipe my shit down. That
I go straight from one to the other, whatever.
Yeah, not
Helps
a big
build
deal.
character.
Use guards when you trimming pubes, because if you just accidentally nick your nuts with a fucking
No, that's
clipper,
what this
that's
is specifically for. It's a non-nick thing. Now I'm gonna put it to the test. But soon my shit will be shiny.
I hate that my mustache grows so well. Like, it's the best part of my facial hair. Like,
I know.
it's like part of my white trash DNA.
It's the best part of my facial hair, too. It's the one that grows in the thickest. Anyway.
It's bullshit.
Do you have any childhood Cujo stories? Have you ever encountered a mean dog that you called Cujo? A random dog, neighborhood dog, something like that?
I don't know. Are we started? Are we back in the show?
Oh, yeah, we've been in it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you knew that.
No, I don't know things.
I know.
I'm here.
But there used to be, behind my house, there was a creek and then there was another subdivision. And I used to go across the creek and play with these kids in the subdivision when I was younger. Mm-hmm. And behind this one kid's house was another street or whatever, so the backyards touched. There was this Rottweiler that lived in one of these houses, and they would tie it up with a leash or whatever when it's outside. But sometimes that dog would get loose. Mm-hmm. And that dog, I don't know what that dog name was, but we all called that dog Cujo. Because there were certain times where that dog would get loose, dude, and we'd have to run into houses and wait for that dog to get away.
One of the places I lived when I was like in second grade, it was like a bunch of backyards that were butted up to each other. And like everybody had fences though. And there were some small backyards, but there was this fucking Lassie dog that was like, if you're picturing like a 6-pack of yards, right? And I'm like at the bottom left. Up 2 from me is a Lassie dog, but like if I hit the ball in one of the other yards and went to get it, this dog would freak out and it would scare the shit out of me that I thought it was going to get over. It never did, never got me, but it would lose its fucking mind. And I just remember that being like a, it was like a Sandlot situation where you're like, fuck me.
The only time I had to get stitches one time from a dog bite, it was my neighbors and we were playing basketball. And it was weird because most of the times, those dogs were fine most of the time. I'd pet them and everything, but when they were on their leashes in the backyard, they were just a different animal for some reason. I have no idea why, but basketball went down in there, and it hit one of the dogs. Like, not hard, it was just like rolled, and it just hit up and rolled after. It was like, fuck. So I had to go get it. And I went slow, which was a horrible idea. Slow and careful, got the ball, and as soon as I picked up the ball, the dog launched towards me. So then, like, I jumped away and dove away, and like in the air, the dog got my ankle. It's like too good. I still have the scar from it. And when I was like 6 years old, yep, it's still there. I still have a scar from it. It's 2 dog bites. The dog branded me forever.
It's not good.
I had to get like 4 or 5 stitches as a kid. Bleeding everywhere.
It's not good.
I still got that scar. I'm touching it right now.
Well, what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? You gotta fight these dogs. You learn at a young age that you gotta have hands. You teach these dogs.
Exactly.
But it's funny now that you're an adult. Like, I just don't, unless the dog is rabid, I can't see a dog attacking you because you would just be like, shut the fuck up. Like, the dog would, Arr!
Let me ask you this. So the way the movie ends, now I've never read the book because I don't read, but the movie ends with, the husband coming and, finally getting there after everything's dead. And Dee Wallace and the little boy walk out, and they're like happy to see each other. And then it ends. Now, do you think he stayed with her, or do you think he left her because she was cheating with a guy just because he knew how to refinish tables, and that was hot to her, and she hopped on his dick? But do you think he stayed with her, or do you think he left her? What do you think?
I don't know, bro. It depends. He might have self-evaluated. He's like, look, I make little stupid cereal things. Maybe I need to get my shit together.
Well, they had a very decent house and very nice cars, so.
It's true.
I think he was doing okay. She obviously did not work, so it was a one-income household. So his stupid little cereals made plenty of money. More than the guy that knows how to fucking sand tables. That's for sure. That's for sure. So, you know what I mean? Like,
you got a point, though.
You know what I mean?
She's undoubtedly a bitch. There's no doubt that she's a bitch
in
the situation. But I don't
I don't know. Kids complicate things. I don't think I would have. I don't think I would. I think I would have bounced. I would have been like, sorry, you had a bad day.
Yeah, I would have been.
I would have
too.
made sure they were alive. Like
Yeah.
well,
no, it's still. I'm sure they still co-parented and shit. But I'm just saying, like
the comfort one. Like I would comfort one after a traumatic, like you're gonna die of rabies, like situation. Like yeah, I'll give you a hug. Like all right, let's get you together. Let's get everybody together.
Sure.
All right, but like we're not together. You know, I'm gonna take you to the hospital and we're gonna make sure my child is okay, and like the mother of my child is okay. Mm-hmm. So when I'm out, like I'm okay, like I'm not a fucking single parent. I'm gonna make sure we're good.
I don't know. He might be fucked though in the divorce, so I think he stayed just for that fact. He's gonna have to pay that because she doesn't work, dog.
Or maybe he just started banging other chicks, to even the score.
That's probably the best solution, really.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a secretary or something at the Kellogg factory or wherever the fuck he worked.
Yeah, stay with her and settle the score, and then see how you feel a year or two later.
Okay. Well, that solves that question that a lot of people may have had about this movie. I did at least. Mm-hmm. I did at least.
Now, do you do the husband thing? So, if let's just say she's not, that situation isn't happening, and she's not banging the table sander, and she's just a normal loyal wife. Do you get out, when she gets out of the car, you what in the fuck? How the fuck have you been here? Just mansplain everything. You would get in this situation. Are you a fucking idiot?
No,
Jesus Christ. I can't leave you alone for fucking 2 minutes.
No, but I guarantee you the dude who the mechanic was would have.
Why the fuck didn't you just do... you would just be hitting him with that. My son, my baby boy, is in peril because you're a fucking idiot.
No, because then she'll flip it on you and say, why didn't you fucking fix the car?
Yeah, I know, but it was the 80s, though. It was a little bit, she didn't work. You had a little bit more leeway, my guy.
Right.
You were able to get a little wild.
That's true.
Well, he gets mad when he drinks. Are you okay?
I like when the mechanic's wife, she buys him an engine lift and he gets all pissed off. He's like, can't afford it. And then she goes, I won the lottery. And his reaction is just, when do we get it? He doesn't give a fuck, dude.
Just so cold about it.
I know.
That does make it funny.
Nobody's reaction is that way when somebody says, I won the lottery. Even though it was only $5,000, it doesn't matter. When somebody tells you they won the lottery, you should be excited.
Yeah, dude. If you told me right now,
it's free fucking money.
You could look across from me right now and say, I won a $50 sports bet. I'd be, hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Even that's a reaction.
Hell yeah. My man.
$5,000 a lottery. No.
Oh, bro, you'd be jazzed. Even if that wasn't, if I looked over at you and I was like, dude, I just won $7,000, you'd be like, hey! like that would be so cool. I don't know. That is one of those situations where you're like, what a dick, dude. How broken are you?
Oh, no.
Or you're like, because you get that money. You're getting something. This is going to be a major life help for you.
Yeah.
Maybe you can fucking check out your dog, getting bit by Zubats in a cave.
Yeah.
Wasn't a good look.
I'm glad the bunny got away, though.
Me too.
Everybody was rooting for that bunny. Get the fuck out of there, dude.
I noticed there's two reactions, though. I noticed this because I said, with the kids, that's something that really gets me, and maybe that's why King sits with me so well. I don't like seeing kids in peril, dude. After a certain age where they can kind of, they're little shits, you're like, all right, dude, get out of there. But when they're real, I don't like that. Something about that fucks me up. I'm very vulnerable to that, dude. I'll be very transparent. But the thing with, if you hurt animals in a movie, it angers me. Not that it doesn't with a kid, but I get it makes me more emotional. But because, all right, let's just say, what's a max life for a St. Bernard? 15 years maybe?
I don't know, 12. I don't know.
Right. So if you kill that, fuck you, dude. You're a piece of shit. Or if you kill an animal that doesn't deserve it, or fuck you, because it could have lived its normal life, right? And that angers me. I get more John Wick when you hurt animals, and I get more in my feels with kids. But it's it's an anger response if you hurt an animal. Now, And
because they're innocent, dude. They can't defend themselves.
Yeah, like it makes me like you just want to fuck that person up. Like with the kid, like I'm like, kid will kind of fuck me up big time, like make me more emotional. But I think with the animal, it's more of like a what the fuck is wrong with you, like bro, like why, like you know, like you get this like, who raised you, like,
Yep.
And that's what makes John Wick so cool, though. Like, you get John Wick so much, you're like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Thanks, dude. Thanks for settling the score.
Let me go. Let me get this button out real quick and go through the portal. Knock your socks off, and you're going to get a wedgie.
Sloppy horror rating, baby, yeah!
Well, and here we are. This is the one of a kind, one and only, world famous, one and only Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. This is what half of you people listen to this crap for. Is for this rating, because you want to know what this movie rates as a horror movie on the horror movie scale developed by Christian Ramey, your mustached scary movie companion. He developed this rating. It's a simple rating, simplified for you simple-minded folk like me. There's a series of 4 categories. 3 categories worth 3 points. Last category is worth 1 point for a total of
10 points altogether.
And if you don't know what the categories are, you dumb fuck, I'm going to tell you, because you're probably new here. You're probably new here.
And that's okay.
And we're going to tickle you a little bit because we're happy to see you. So let's get into the first category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is casting.
So this one's going to lean a heavy 2 for me. Not enough A-list actors, but the performances by Dee Wallace, first off the chain, and she in my list is like horror gold. But you just have some people from Christopher Stone, the Ed Lauder, he was in Salem's Lot as well, kind of did, I don't know, had love for Stephen King. Good actors, nothing where it's going to take it way over the top, but I think 2 is a very fair score for it.
Sure. Plus you had to work with the dog. That's
yeah.
hard.
Yeah, he's a cast member too.
That's
You're
hard.
right.
5 of them from the segment earlier. So there's 2.5, 2 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the second category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is kills.
So there's only like, I think 2 deaths or 3 deaths in this movie, and then like Cujo. So there's not really that many deaths.
Yeah, you got the cop, you got the 2 dudes.
Well, yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah.
And then Cujo.
Yeah.
So not a lot on the death department. I feel like enough to warrant it a 1, maybe, because it's like,
They're pretty brutal and intense.
that's what I'm saying. Like the aftermath of that one dude, because you seen him get fucked up, but like the aftermath of him was pretty gnarly. So I mean, I feel like it's enough to be a 1 because it's an animal ripping you to pieces. And
Yeah, that's a primal fear.
yeah, and the attacks last for quite a minute. So
Yep, and they get crazy with the camera and make it more intense.
yeah, they're not quick pan outs. They go. I don't know. They're pretty in detail. So
Absolutely. So the one, the onesie.
yeah,
1.
fun.
So that's 3 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the third, final 3-point category here in the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is fear.
Mark, this is a tough one, man. I don't know because, like I said, I'm not afraid of dogs, and I know like there's 12-year-old girls who will wrestle a pit bull. You know, like. So I don't know, but it is a fear that's like normal because it's a rabid dog and it is a big dog. So to me, this is screaming 1.5. It's like middle of the road for me because this is a very real thing. This isn't an unbelievable monster. A dog can have rabies, or even if it doesn't, it could attack you. And it's not you that it's attacking. It's attacking a woman and a child. And you're kind of like watching from their point of view. So that makes it a little more vulnerable. But I also think there's some practicality in there where like a lot of people aren't afraid of dogs. And so I don't know. What say you, Wolzok?
Nah, 1.5 is fine. I agree with everything you just said, plus the impact that it has, because guarantee you, if anybody sees a very scary-looking dog, Cujo is going to pop in their mind.
Yeah, dude. It's
You're
like
oh,
Jaws.
dude, that's fucking Cujo. Yeah, same thing. It's just like Jaws. It's like Jaws, but on land.
Yeah.
You know? He is the ideal scary dog. So,
And a lot of people have dogs.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's very true. That is a very true statement. Yes, a lot of people have dogs. You are correct. You are very correct.
most everyone
We did not have to do research on that.
is
That's
going
very
to see a
well-known
dog
fact.
within this week.
Oh, yeah. Maybe in the next 30 seconds when you look over.
Yeah.
There's your dog. You see him? Give him a pet. Give
There's
him a treat.
There's this thing, and
Rub
like
its belly.
I know you know I know you know with my dog. There's this thing, and I didn't know, but they call them pandemic dogs or COVID dogs, and they have serious separation anxiety because the work from home and everybody's been home and whatever, and that's when we got Lexi. And Rachel always works from home. That's why she's like that. She's very like nurturing. She want like she would Scooby-Doo you if like she would jump up and hug you and let you like "Whoa," like and run around with her. She wants to be bear hugged. And it's these COVID dogs, dude. So maybe if anybody out there's got a COVID dog, I imagine they're one with their dog right now.
Oh, yeah.
Those dogs are. I mean, some dogs are like that in general, but these are no joke.
Yep. For sure. So that's 4.5 so far here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating. Let's get into the final 1-point category for half a point each here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast rating, and that is rewatchability.
This was actually really hard for me because I was wondering, because I've seen this movie maybe a dozen times in my life, right? Mm-hmm. And I watched this again when it was on HBO, when it came back on HBO, and this was probably right around Halloween season. And watching it again, it made me say, back to that kid crying and stuff, like that kind of fucks me up a little bit, and I don't like that. And that's hard for me to watch. And like there's a part of me where it's like, dude, it's really hard for me to rewatch it, but it's such an impactful movie, and I still do go back and watch it, and I still do laugh at the kid at moments, and so yes, it's rewatchable as fuck. But for a moment, I like really contemplated it because I was like, dude, this movie, it's hard for me. Like some are one and dones where you're like, I only need to see that bitch once. And like Requiem for a Dream, like you don't need to see that
No,
twice.
I don't need to see that movie ever again.
No, you got it.
Yeah, I got the...
It's sad.
Yeah,
Like
I got it.
You got it.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. And
Had a sweet score, but that's about it. Yes. I'm going to go with rewatchable. It's a classic. It's only an hour and a half. It's very short.
That helps.
It's to the point. It's a classic movie. So, I mean, it is rewatchable. Not all the time, but it is a rewatchable movie. You can enjoy it. So that is a total of 5.5 out of 10 for Cujo.
Yep.
Here on the Sloppy Horror Podcast, right back up in your ass.
Good stuff.
It's there. There you go.
Yeah, that feels right for Cujo. And what a classic movie. What a classic. It does. The name is bigger than the flick itself. It's one of those kind of deals. But it really is a pleasure to, like, and I'm not trying to sound corny, but to be able to knock a lot of these Stephen Kings off of our list. And what's fucking wild, dude, like, it's some movies, like I remember initially on, we were covering some of the big franchises, and you're like, whoa, little buddy, let's space these out so we don't go through all the main franchises right away. And I was like, you got a really good point. And it's very feasible. It's like impossible to do with King. Like we've had seasons, we've covered 3 King movies, and it like we could do that for the end of time. Like it's fucking nuts. Like I can't wrap my head around that. Like that's really fucking nuts. I can't name another person that you can say that for. Like there's no other like, oh yeah, that writer and all of his movies. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty educated with movies. I read, but I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I'm the craziest reader. I go in spurts, but I couldn't tell you another person like that.
That's because there isn't.
And how cool is it that it like belongs to scary? Like that's so cool to me.
That's good. I'm glad it doesn't like belong to like drama or something or romance.
Yeah, you got like
you
got like your Tom Clancy who makes like your like those dad books, like the fucking, you know what I mean, like the government-y like drama books, like. Okay, and he's made some shows and movies, and like you get those people like that, or even your Thomas Harris with your Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, but so fucking cool that this belongs to us. And since the beginning of movies, there's been horror. The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Nosferatu. Since the beginning, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Phantom of the Opera. People like to be scared. Since the beginning of books, the same fucking way, dude. people like to be scared. It's you don't really know why, and maybe it's just something like a roller coaster where you can get close to death without actually experiencing it. But I can't really explain why, but it's just one of those things, man. And that's just like, we got the best rider of all time on our team, like of all time, like, or the most celebrated. So the drum keeps going on, bro. It's like the Energizer Bunny. Another week, another fucking movie. We're going to come back with another season. I feel like this next season's going to be like really themed in a way.
You think so?
Yeah, you remember when we did the Splat Pack season? I think it's going to be something fun. It's going to be something fun like that.
Do you have any ideas that's brewing up in your mind?
A few, but none. I don't want to give hints yet. But it will be. We'll give something on the social media.
Something. Okay. Okay.
Big year. Isn't it weird that we're in the 20s? Like kids can look back and be like, my grandfather in the 20s. Like, that's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
You don't
we
look
made
at
it.
it that way.
We made it.
Like,
We made it to the 20s.
I don't know if you look at it or if people look at it that way, but it is like weird that like, and we'll be in the 40s at one. I mean, hopefully, knock on wood, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's so fucking weird. But just a thought. But what I can tell you is it's going to be another fun season, and it's going to be some more horror education. So once again, thank you guys for watching, being loyal supporters, and for absolutely goddamn free, you can help us out big time by subscribing on YouTube, giving those free ratings, sharing the show, and letting others know. So
sharing the show and letting others know.
Yeah, man.
That was a nice little rhyme you did right there.
That word of mouth helps big time, dude, because we're not paying for TikTok promote. We're not paying for any of that dumb shit. We're not doing like any kind of like paid bullshit.
I know. And where are these broads at? Just write sloppy horror on your cleavage and put it on social media. Do something.
Yeah, help me out,
Do
man.
something with your cleavage, ladies. Help us out.
Help us.
I can't put sloppy horror on my balls. It doesn't, or my bulge. It doesn't work.
No.
Your shit's just hanging out there. Get a fucking marker and write sloppy horror. Make sure
man.
it says horror. Don't put horror because then it won't work. You gotta put horror.
You know what? Absolutely though, for real, is like the big time super sexy plug. You got Facebook, you got Instagram, and some of you got more followers than I do on those fucking feeds. Make a share. Make one share. Share Sloppy Horror Podcast, and really, man, the impact that can help for absolutely for free. Maybe 5 minutes of your time. That could get us a couple dozen extra people that would have never even heard of us, and that means the world to us. So, thank you guys for another fucking great season. You're all rehabilitated now. All
Yes,
right? You're safe to go back into the world.
I know. You're welcome. You're fucking welcome. Goodbye.
Goodbye.